Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel, Fluent Pro Hub.
Hello and welcome back to Fluent Pro Hub. My name is Tom, and today I want to invite you into a very special kind of learning space. A space where there is no pressure, no rushing, no tests, and no fear of making mistakes. This is simply a moment for you to listen, to relax, to focus, and to let real spoken English flow into your mind. You don't need to speak yet. You don't need to write anything down. All you need to do is sit back, close your eyes if you want to, and just listen carefully. Many of you have told me, Tom, I understand English when I read or hear it, but when I try to speak, nothing comes out. Or, I know the words, but I don't know how to put them together naturally. If this sounds like you, then this video is made just for you. Because today, we are not going to learn grammar rules. We are not going to memorize vocabulary lists. Instead, we are going to do something much more powerful. We are going to listen to long, natural English sentences. The kind of sentences real people use every day in real conversations. You see, in real life, people don't speak in short phrases like, "How are you?" or "I am fine." They speak in full, flowing sentences, with pauses, with emotion, with small details that make the conversation feel real. And if you want to speak English naturally, you need to hear it spoken that way. Slowly, clearly, and with kindness. So in this video, I will gently introduce you to over 100 long, useful English sentences that you can use in your daily life. But I won't just say them one after another like a robot. No, I will speak to you like a teacher, like a friend, explaining each sentence in a natural way, helping you understand not just the words, but the meaning, the rhythm, and the feeling behind them. We'll talk about how you're feeling, what you did today, your plans for tomorrow, small problems you face, things you enjoy, how you talk to friends, co-workers, or strangers, how to be polite, honest, and clear. And I will say each sentence slowly. I will pause between them. I will speak with warmth and patience just for you. Because learning a language is not a race, it's a journey. And every time you listen like this, you are taking one small step forward. So take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let go of any stress. This is your time, your safe space, your chance to grow, not by force, but by gentle, consistent listening. Let's begin. Imagine you're meeting a friend after a long time. You want to say more than just hi. You want to share a little about your life. So instead of saying, "I'm okay," you might say something like this: "I've actually been keeping pretty busy lately, but in a good way. I've been working on a few personal projects, and it feels nice to finally make some progress. That's a real sentence. It's not short, it's not simple, but it's not difficult either. It uses words you already know: busy, working, projects, progress. But it puts them together in a way that sounds natural, like something you'd actually hear in a conversation. And the more you hear sentences like this, the more your brain starts to learn how to build them on its own. Or maybe someone asks you how your week has been. Instead of just saying good, you could say, "This week has been a bit tiring because I had a lot of meetings, but I'm happy with how things turned out in the end." This sentence gives more information. It tells the other person not just how you feel, but why. And that's what makes a conversation meaningful, when you share a little piece of your real life. Now, what if you're explaining why you're late? You don't want to sound like you're making excuses, so you say it gently. "I'm really sorry I'm late. I left on time, but there was unexpected traffic on the main road and I couldn't find a shortcut." This sentence is polite. It shows you care. It gives a reason, and it uses natural spoken grammar. Unexpected traffic, couldn't find a shortcut. Things you'll start to use yourself after hearing them enough. Let me give you another one. Imagine you're talking about your morning routine. Instead of just listing actions, you tell a small story. "I usually wake up around 7, but this morning I slept in because I stayed up late watching a documentary about space, and I didn't realize how late it had gotten." This is not just, "I woke up late." This is a full sentence with a reason, a feeling, and a tiny bit of personality. And that's how real people speak. Or when you're making a request, you don't want to sound demanding, so you soften it. "Would it be possible to reschedule our meeting for tomorrow? I've just realized I have another appointment today that I completely forgot about." This is polite, clear, and honest. It shows you're organized, but also human, and everyone can relate to forgetting something. Now, imagine you're talking about your health. Instead of saying, "I'm tired," you might say, "I've been feeling a bit low on energy this week. I think I need to get more sleep and drink more water during the day." This sentence doesn't just state a problem, it shows you're thinking about a solution. And that makes it more natural, more complete. Or when you're sharing good news, "I finally finished that online course I've been taking, and I'm actually proud of how much I've learned, even though it was challenging at times." This shows emotion, pride, effort, struggle, and it's something you can say in real life. Whether you're talking to a friend, a teacher, or a coworker. Let's try one about habits. Maybe someone asks why you always carry a water bottle. "I've been trying to stay hydrated lately because I used to forget to drink water, and I'd end up with headaches by the afternoon." This explains not just what you do, but why, and it uses past and present to show change over time. Or when you're being honest about not knowing something. "I'm not entirely sure how this works yet, but I've been reading about it, and I think I'm starting to understand the basics." This is confident, not weak. It shows you're learning, and that's okay. Now, what if you're giving advice to someone who's stressed? If you're feeling overwhelmed, it might help to take just 10 minutes a day to sit quietly. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing. It sounds simple, but it can make a real difference. This is kind, helpful, and uses gentle language, not commands, but suggestions. Or when you're talking about your weekend, I didn't do anything too exciting over the weekend. I mostly stayed home, caught up on some sleep, and watched a few episodes of that new series everyone's talking about. This is a natural way to share your life. Not bragging, not complaining, just being real. Let's try one about technology. We all face problems with phones and apps. My phone has been acting strangely lately. It keeps freezing when I open certain apps, so I think I might need to reset it or update the software. This is something many people experience, and now you have a full sentence to describe it in English. Or when you are explaining a delay, I meant to send you that document yesterday, but I got caught up in another task and completely lost track of time. This is honest, polite, and uses common expressions like caught up and lost track of time, phrases you'll start to recognize and use. Now, imagine you're talking about food. Instead of saying, I like pizza, you could say, I don't eat pizza very often, but when I do, I prefer it with vegetables and less cheese because I find it easier to digest. This shows preference, health awareness, and personal taste, all in one natural sentence. Or when you're making plans. I'm thinking of going for a walk later, if the weather stays clear. I've been sitting indoors all day, and I really need some fresh air. This shows intention, condition, if the weather stays clear, and reason, all in smooth spoken English. Let's try one about learning English. I still make a lot of mistakes when I speak, but I've noticed that I can understand much more than I could a few months ago. And that gives me hope. This is honest, positive, and encouraging, not just for others, but for yourself. Or when you're apologizing, I completely forgot about our call yesterday. It completely slipped my mind, and I feel bad about it. This sounds natural, not robotic. It uses slipped my mind, a common expression you'll hear often. Now, what if you're describing your job? I work in customer service, so I spend most of my day answering questions, solving problems, and trying to make people feel heard. This gives a clear picture, not just I work in service, but what you actually do. Or when you're talking about your goals. One of my biggest goals this year is to become more comfortable speaking English without having to translate in my head first. This is something many learners feel, and now you have a sentence to express it. Let's try one about family. My parents live in another city, so I usually call them once a week to check in and see how they're doing. Simple, real, full of meaning. Or when you're being encouraging. You're doing much better than you think. I can already hear how much more confident you've become when you speak. Wouldn't it feel good to hear that? And wouldn't it feel even better to say it to someone else? Now, imagine you're explaining a habit. I've been trying to avoid using my phone first thing in the morning because I noticed it makes me feel distracted and less focused for the rest of the day. This shows self-awareness and effort, and it uses natural grammar like trying to avoid and makes me feel. Or when you're sharing a small struggle, I sometimes find it hard to stay motivated when I'm learning something new, especially when progress feels slow. This is honest, relatable, human. Let's try one about the weather. It was sunny this morning, but now the sky has turned dark and it looks like it might start raining any minute. This paints a picture, not just it's raining, but how it changed. Or, when you're making a suggestion, we could meet at the cafe near the library, if that works for you. It's quiet, and I find it easier to concentrate there. Polite, clear, thoughtful. Now, what if you're talking about a book or movie? I just finished reading that novel everyone's been recommending, and while it was a bit slow at first, I ended up really enjoying the story. This shows opinion, balance, while it was slow, and personal taste. Or when you're being patient with yourself. I know I'm not fluent yet, but I also know that every time I practice, I'm one step closer than I was yesterday. This is powerful. This is growth. Let's try one about travel. I've never been to Europe, but it's definitely on my list. I'd love to visit Italy just to try the real pasta and see the old cities. Dreams, hopes, simple words, deep meaning. Or when you're explaining a preference, I personally prefer walking to work instead of driving because it helps me clear my mind and get some exercise at the same time. This shows reason, health, and personal choice. Now, imagine you're talking about sleep. I've been having trouble falling asleep lately, so I've started reading a book before bed instead of watching videos on my phone. This explains a problem and a solution naturally. Or when you're being kind. I know things have been difficult for you lately, and I just want you to know that I'm here if you ever want to talk. This is support. This is care. This is real human connection. Let's try one about learning from mistakes. I made a few errors in my last report, but my manager was kind enough to point them out, and I've learned a lot from the experience. This shows humility, growth, and professionalism. Or when you're expressing gratitude. Thank you so much for your help yesterday. I wouldn't have been able to finish on time without you. Simple, sincere, powerful. Now, what if you're talking about time management? I've been trying to plan my day more carefully because I kept feeling like I was running out of time, even when I wasn't doing that much. This is something so many people feel, and now you can say it in English. Or when you're being honest about feelings. There are days when I feel like giving up, but then I remember why I started, and that gives me the strength to keep going. This is deep. This is real. This is courage. Let's try one about small joys. One thing that always makes me happy is hearing from an old friend out of the blue. It reminds me that some connections never really fade. This is warm. This is emotional. This is beautiful English. Or when you're ending a conversation gently. I should probably get going now because I have a few things to do before dinner. But I've really enjoyed our talk. Let's do this again soon. This is polite, warm, and leaves the door open. Now, imagine you're talking about habits again. I've been trying to drink more water during the day because I used to only drink tea, and I realized I wasn't staying properly hydrated. This shows change, awareness, and health. Or when you're being realistic. I don't expect to become fluent overnight, but as long as I'm moving forward, even slowly, I know I'm on the right path. This is patience. This is wisdom. Let's try one about challenges. Learning a new language isn't easy, and there are days when I feel stuck. But I've learned that consistency matters more than speed. This is truth. This is motivation. Or when you're describing your environment. The room I'm in right now is small, but it's cozy, and I've arranged it in a way that helps me focus when I'm studying. This paints a picture, not just small room, but feeling and function. Now, what if you're talking about motivation? I don't always feel like practicing, but I found that even 10 minutes of listening or speaking makes a difference over time. This is honest. This is practical. Or when you're being reflective, looking back, I can see how much I've improved, even if it didn't feel like it while I was going through it. This is perspective. This is growth. Let's try one about kindness. One small act of kindness can change someone's entire day. I've experienced it myself, and now I try to do the same for others. This is deep. This is meaningful. Or when you're talking about goals, my main goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be able to express myself clearly and connect with people without fear. This is the heart of language learning. And finally, one more when you're being gentle with yourself. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm not where I started either, and that's worth celebrating. This is everything. That was over 100 long, natural English sentences, not listed, not rushed, but shared slowly, clearly, and with care. Each one is something you can use. Each one helps you understand how real people speak. Remember, you don't need to remember them all. Just pick a few. Repeat them. Say them out loud. Imagine using them in your life. That's how they become yours. Thank you for listening so patiently. Every word you heard today helped your brain get more comfortable with spoken English. You're doing better than you think. Keep going. Keep listening. Keep believing in yourself. Until next time, take care. Goodbye for now.